So at that point, what's going to happen is these two notice that... I want the audience to feel sad for you, because like me, boyfriend's like this. So I can't quite... I didn't bring any snacks.
For me, child-on-child coercion is really about healthy relationships that young people have between themselves and their peers. When we were looking with the young people this year, we were asking them what sort of things they'd like us to be involved with, and it was their idea to produce a film.
The person who does over...
Last year, Bez approached me and was kind of talking to me about the idea of making a short film that looked at child-on-child coercion. So the story of The Words We Don't Say follows the character Ellie, who's played by Livs, and she's at a party with her best friend Kelly, and you see them talking about a sexual act that happened between Kelly and her boyfriend Josh, and they both Josh and Kelly kind of coerce or suggest the idea of a similar thing happening between Ethan and Ellie. My very first thought was how to tell the story, and then we went into details about characters, and like I always do with my films, I had a very detailed backstory for each character.
And she basically took us through our characters' backgrounds, age, where they studied and how they act, how they feel, just to give us like a mindset of what our character's like.
We just read through the script and tried to understand the relationships between the characters, and then like form them relationships outside of the characters.
It was very clear from the beginning that it had to be very real. I felt like it had to be quite raw, so it did have to... I wanted to push kind of my luck in a way as much as I could, to the point where it became kind of like, yeah, obviously you can't go past this point.
So we had a few rehearsals before filming. I think my first one was with Kian. It was proper daunting, really. We did the bedroom scene. It actually didn't really feel that weird at all. It was kind of just like professional environment. We're just going to do it. We'll block it out. This is what it's going to be like. It's going to be fine.
So I kind of just said, right, so at this point, what should we do now? And we kind of, as a trio, in a way, everyone in the room, so at one point we had Keith, Livs, me, Kian and Bez all working out, would they do this at this point? Does that look awkward on camera? And we kind of choreographed this whole movement.
It's just kind of, you can remember how things go. And then once you've got the baseline of what you've got to do, you can then put your character into it. And then we both kind of just bounced off each other, me and Liv did, bounced off each other, which then made it feel real. Like all the cameras and everything just kind of wasn't there.
They both knew the line of seriousness of where we stop kind of joking about and we actually make something and do some work. And we choreographed the whole scene in the bedroom in about 15 minutes. They were both throwing ideas at me, which is what I like. I don't like to direct at people, I direct with people. There was definitely an atmosphere on set that, yeah, we are going to have fun, as we always do on set, but there is definitely a point to making this. There's a reason we're making it.
Like it was all comfortable. We were all like ready. We had everything prepared. It was just a comfortable atmosphere. Like you knew that this is what we're going to do and we're going to get through it.
Like there wasn't anyone like, you've got to do this, you've got to separate or anything like that. It was like all sort of collective, and whenever we had to get something done, it was just quiet, straight into it. The moment cut was said, that's it, just we can chill for a little bit until the next take. And it was just really nice, and it wasn't strict.
Everyone knew what they were doing. It was just normal routine for them. I kind of just slotted in, like just, oh, okay. Yeah, very, very strange, and especially with the kind of way you have to act. Obviously, everything's really close up. Every little thing you do is seen, which Jess had to tell me a lot. no, you're not on stage, you're being filmed, you can see everything.
Jess is amazing. Like, she makes the atmosphere just so chill, and like if you need help with something, she's always there, and like she doesn't make it like full of pressure.
And she knows a lot of her stuff, and she's really good at what she does. First rehearsal, when she was explaining all the different backgrounds of the characters, was just really nice. Like, she could get into our heads and get the characters into our heads, and just help us realise what our characters were like. And it was just a really good way. Like, I've never really had that with a director before.
I'm very lucky to work with a big group of talented young people as well. So I brought Dan and Dylan back on sound. They were amazing. The kind of things you asked them to do, like we had Dylan like shoved under a table, we had Dan laying on the floor. They're very, very good. And we had Tyler as my AD, something he hasn't done before, but he was very good, bless him, kept the atmosphere on set very light. I think at one point we had him doing, he was doing Slate at one point in different accents and things like that, so he kept the atmosphere a lot lighter. I'm very proud of kind of how it's all come together in the edit. Me and Keith have just finished editing it, just about, and the way it looks on screen is very similar to how I saw it in my head, which doesn't often happen. And so I'm very happy with how I'm hoping it will be like portrayed to an audience and how they'll take it.
I mean, I think the most important message from this film is to give people the power to say it's okay to say no. And that's a hard ask, actually. It's really hard to say, no, I don't feel comfortable, no, I don't feel ready. But I think if that's the feeling you have inside yourself, then that's you saying to yourself, I don't want this to happen.
It's really important to speak to your children and give them the confidence to be able to say no, to not be coerced, actually, just to give them the confidence to be able to say, actually, do you know what? I'm not really comfortable with what you're asking me to do right now, so I'm not going to do that.
I think it's important to discuss this particular subject matter because it isn't spoken about enough. I myself didn't really know what it meant until Bez sat me down and was like, right, this is what it's about, this is what it means, this is how it can be taken. I've never seen any media or specifically short films about it, so I think the purpose of the film is to educate, and I hope that's what comes out of it.
This does happen a lot. This is a serious situation that happens with kids my age, and a lot of people don't really talk about these sort of things.
I think it's important for schools to show these sort of things, and like for schools to help us, because personally I wouldn't talk to my mum or my friends about it. I'd need it told to me.
And no one will understand until you generally show young people what effect it has on both sides.
And that's the reason that we're making it, to educate people. And so the words we don't say, coercion, and what it is and what it's about and how it happens, how easily it happens, and how easily you maybe don't realise you're doing it and you're a victim of it.
Make sure that the person wants to do what you say, and just don't think about yourself as much. Think about others.